Hey guys, Lisa Callaghy here to share with you a video on how to share your resources between your resource space in Schoology and your courses, and vice versa, actually. All right, so let's get started. Here I am on a teacher's course dashboard in Schoology. I'm going to navigate to the Resources tab at the top of the screen in the top menu bar. And I'm automatically landed in this teacher's My Resources area and into her home resource bin. Everyone has a home resource bin. Every user has one of those. So in her home resource bin, she has some resources. And I'm going to show you how to share that over, copy that over to your courses. What does copy over, what doesn't. And then I'll show you how to kind of copy things back over to your resource folder or your resources space here in Schoology. All right, so I'm going to pick one of her resources here, A Bad Case of Stripes, Reading and Listening. So this looks like it's an assignment. So I'm going to come over to the gear on to the right of the title of the resource, click and choose Add to Course. So what you're able to do here is you're able to take this resource that you've created and you're able to add it to multiple courses at one time. So I'm going to choose two of her courses here, her two social studies courses. And notice when I check the box next to the course title, um, some more information kind of appears underneath the title. I'm going to do that to the both of them here. Actually, I'll just do it to one. All right, so I'm adding this to her social studies course section 302. And now it's asking me if I want to fill in a couple of things here. And notice that category and scale rubric have asterisks, so they must be edited here. So you need to fill in some information here. So let me start at the top where it says folder. If you have in your course already created folders in your course, so some people have organized their course by topic, some people have organized their courses by days of the week, or even just a certain day. So if you already created that folder, which is a good idea to do if you're going to be copying resources into your courses, copying it directly into a folder that you've already created where that topic and that resource are needed. So if this was a resource that is for Native Americans that I've created in my resources bin, then I could just easily copy it right into the course and then subsequently into the Native American folder that I've created. Okay, so they do allow you to choose folders. You have a maximum points and set as midterm or final if that's what this is. You can choose a due date, although it's not mandatory here. You must choose a category. So it's either an ungraded resource that you're sharing over, copying over to a course, or it's going to be graded and then part of one of your synced categories. I'm just going to choose ungraded. This is default numeric scale, but if you needed to change it, you can change it here. It will automatically default to the quarter in which you are, the date that you are copying this resource over to a course. So we are in quarter 2, so it will automatically default to that. And then I can check off enable, or if I want to uncheck, enable submissions, meaning that this, I do not want any submissions for this activity or resource that I'm sharing over, or if I do want submissions, it will be enabled here. Okay, so these are the pieces that you need to, or that you have options to fill out when you are copying your resource over to your courses. So now I'm going to click on add. So I just added that resource to one of her courses. So now I'm going to go into her course menu options here, and I believe it was Social Studies 302. And there it is. So I added a bad case of stripes, reading and listening. Now, once you copy it over, it's automatically visible to students. So if you don't want students to see it, you're not ready for it to be available to them, just come over to the gear to the right of the title of the assignment or material here, click and then choose unpublish. So unpublishing means that it is in the correct place. So it's in your course, it's ready to go, but it's not published to your students yet. Okay. Or maybe it's not ready to go. Maybe there's things that you need to add to it, such as a copy of a document that every student will get a copy of. So if you're attaching a PDF or if you're attaching a Google Doc where you want each one of your students to have a copy, an individual copy of that attachment, then you have to definitely edit that because, as you noticed, when we were copying from resources, you didn't have that ability to do that in resources to this assignment. But once it's in the course and I come over to the gear and I click on edit, now I'm able to do all the things to this assignment that I want. So if I needed to add anything to the description, if I needed to add any more instructions, if I needed to, like here, add a Google Doc or a PDF where each one of my students gets an individual copy, I could do that here. You see the due date, the ungraded, the quarter, that was all available in the resources. So that you could have set up prior to copying it over to your course. And also the scale rubric, you now have the ability to create a new one if you wanted to here. So you didn't have that ability when you were in the resources. You also have the align to your learning objectives here. If you want to align this to any state standards, you would obviously pick your state and align to any of these state standards. And then finally, I just want to bring your attention to the bottom options pieces. Now, I have a video on this explaining what each one of these options are, but it's important for you to know here that anything that is grayed out, so anything that's not colorful. So right here, if you see option number 3 here, this icon, submissions enabled, that is active because it is colorful. And the last one, comments enabled. So these are active for this assignment. The other ones individually assigned. So if I wanted to individually assign this assignment to certain students, I would have to turn this on, and then I would choose who to assign it to. If I want to lock this, so usually this happens when you are using a due date, because the due date does not necessarily lock the assignment from being turned in after the due date. It would just be submitted as late. But if you wanted this to be locked where students are unable to submit, then you would lock this assignment. They would still see it, but they can't submit. And then you have submissions enabled, or I could uncheck this. Unpublishing. So right now you notice that this is an unpublished. So if I want to, I'm sorry, this is published. So if I wanted to unpublish it, now it's published to students. If I wanted to unpublish it, it's not. So it was unpublished because that's what I chose before. But if I wanted to publish this, I can publish it right from here at the options. And then grading statistics. So these are currently disabled. If I wanted to enable them, I enable the grading statistics. So it's going to give me statistics about the grades for this particular assignment. All right. And now I save my changes. Okay. And now I've successfully copied a resource item in my resources bin to a course. Now, if I wanted to take any one of my activities or materials that I have created within a course, so I'm going to open up one of these folders and see that I have two assignments here. Okay. So if I wanted, and I created these assignments in this particular course, I didn't create it in my resources, but I want to bring this back to my resources because I feel like this is something that I want to use next year. So what I can do is the gear shift to, and I can actually do that um, with the whole folder if I'd like. So if I want to do individual assignments, but if I want to do the whole folder, I could come up to the gear next to the folder and then choose copy, save to resources. I'm sorry, save to resources. Okay. So what that's going to do is it's going to bring up a resources window, and I could choose which collection I want to save it to. And I'm creating a video on what collections are and how to organize your resources in the resources space in Schoology. So you can check back and watch that video on tips on how to use the resources space. But one of the features is for you to create different collections, and they call them collections. I call them like resource bins, like file cabinet of one drawer. So she has multiple resource bins here that she's created. So if I wanted to add this resource or this activity or assignment that I've created or that she's created in her course, not in resources. So this folder does not exist anywhere in her resources space. She wants to bring it over. So she could bring it to her home or pick any one of these and then click save copy. Okay. And again, if she had a folder system within any one of these collections, she can add it to the folder that she has. Um, so yeah, so that's how you would copy back over, and I could go ahead and do that. So now that copied that New Jersey folder. I could go back to resources, and there's the folder. Okay, so this has been a video on how to copy resources to courses and how to copy your assignments, assessments, or any materials that you assign in a course back to your resources space in Schoology. Please check out the other videos on how to use the resources, um, tips and tricks on using the resources space in Schoology. I'll be breaking that down into a couple of different videos. All right, guys, so I hope this helped. Have a great day.